Welcome back, Libra, and for those of you that are new, it's good to have your company. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au, and wow, it's April already. Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana, or so Groucho Marx from the Marx Brothers once said in the 1930s or 40s. But looking at your horoscope right now, we see the focus is particularly here with your ruling planet Venus transiting the 6th house with Mercury. 6th house shows a renewed interest in your health, your well-being, and the ability to improve that right now. And why do I say that? That is because your ruler is in its best sign here. When Venus moves through this area, you'll be conscious of health. Along with this mercurial influence, which is debilitated, there's a conflict of energies here. One planet, your ruler, in its best position. Mercury in its worst position. You'll note here, according to some systems of astrology, that when this planet is debilitated but happens to be in the company of a planet that is exalted, then the weakness of that planet is cancelled. It's actually endowed with considerable strength. So we see its connection to Neptune, which is idealism, your dreams. This has a lot to do with your self-image. Not only your physical self-image, although I'm focusing on that quite a bit, it has to do with your self-esteem in terms of the work that you perform. Here we see with the animated chart on the first couple of days of the month, the moon moving into this conjunction, bringing a very solid, focused energy from Saturn and Pluto, and the North Node here from your 10th house of career. So you are fully aware of doing work that is in keeping with your ideals and doing it in such a way that it's going to impress others. And I think it will here. These are favourable aspects. The important transit in the first few days of the month is the new moon here in the 7th house. This is your partnerships house. It's challenged by these earlier mentioned planets such as Saturn, Pluto, and the nodes. The nodes have to do with your karmic destiny. So you are thinking in terms of where you want to be and who you want to do that with. The new moon shows a new approach to the way you deal with people. If this is purely an independent business, then you'll be thinking about how to market yourself in a different way, how people perceive you. And marketing is always considered to be something to do with, you know, your brand and getting a graphic designer and, you know. I'm talking about the way you speak, the way you communicate. That's also shown here by Jupiter in your 3rd house of communications, lending its support to this new moon. Keep your eye on this planet. It's going to go retrograde this month. But I think this is important for showing a new trend starting for you. This Uranus in the 8th house also shows the way you are becoming intimate and deepening your connection to others is subjected to some very, very big changes at this time. You want something fresh, you want something new, and your belief systems are going to be challenged as well, especially when the moon transits across Mars here, the upper part of the horoscope. Notice also that Mars is strongly associated here with this 7th house. It rules Aries. And the Mars being in this 9th house has something to say about the communication of your partner. That can relate to your business partner, can relate to your de facto partnership, your lover. Big changes taking place here. And also this connection here with the spouse in the 9th house shows a journey together perhaps. This can be physical journeys, travels, cruises. This is an air sign. It could be air travel. These are normally long distance travels, or at least some planning that is going along those lines. The 10th house transit of the moon here is excellent for your work. Again, it starts to bring to fruition some of the earlier things that I talked about here, the 6th house. in terms of the way you are trying to make an impression. 10th house is also your boss, and the moon in its own sign is quite favourable here, especially when it makes conjunction with this north node. You can fulfill your profitable desires by the transit of the moon in this 11th house. This also has a lovely triangular aspect to Jupiter, the fortune planet, and the sun, which is the planet of profitability and friendships here. So good connections being made, good increase or uplift in your income can be expected, or at least planned for at this time. The full moon is what I want to talk to you about here on the 19th. As the moon moves into its fullness here, it's going to make contact with the sun and Uranus energies. And this, I think, is the time of the month when you are likely to try something completely different. You're quite happy to test and shock others. It may not go down too well with family members here, as we see the square here. Even with others, that's going to be a bit of a gamble. But what's life about if you can't take a gamble, huh? So it shows that gamble is likely to be taken. The full moon sheds its light on one's self when it is in the sun sign. You see here, the moon transiting the sign of Libra, your sun sign. So this is important. And it shows the square to the nodes and to the family. So you'll be a little out of step with others in terms of what it is you are hoping to do in terms of changing your personality, changing your manner, changing your dress, the objectics, what it is that affects other people can be changed now. A very, very big experimental period for you, and one that I think is going to make heads turn, that's for sure. Communication under this transit is very, very nice, with the moon conjoining Jupiter, making you more forceful, lucky opportunities. But the square, according to some astrologers, may be very, very nebulous as a result of, number one, the right angles here to Neptune, the depth sector, but also the retrogression that's just taken place, as you can see, by Jupiter, which has to do with this communication. So you need to be very, very careful. It's not just the retrograde Mercury that causes confusion in relationships, but it can be these other planets and aspects that create some confusion. You have to wait for the better cycle here. This is a better cycle, less confusion when moon moves into the 60-degree aspect or the sextile. And then here, some of these sextiles and to the 7th house, see the communications planet along with the love planet Venus in your 7th house is exceptionally good, bringing with it better opportunities to communicate. Here the square aspect to Saturn is causing problems more with family and on the domestic scene. But here, hold fast to your ideals, even if you've got those challenges, because this is the start of a new cycle for you, Libra. And it seems that this month is going to be a bold, daring, and a challenging one in terms of you experimenting with being a new you. Hope to see you next month. Take a look at astrology.com.au. The more detailed analysis is there for you right now. Drop us a line if you want. I'll be more than happy to drop you back a